Danny Barnes is a finance enthusiast and aspiring financial advisor, passionate about helping individuals improve their financial literacy. With a background in cybersecurity, Danny is blending this skill with personal finance to educate others in protecting their finances from fraud. Currently pursuing a master's degree in finance, he is working on establishing his niche in the personal finance space. What's up, my financially intentional people? It is always an honor to be joined by another personal finance enthusiast. And today we have Danny Barnes joining us. What's up, Danny?
What's going on? How y'all doing today?
Danny, let's talk about your journey. Like, how did you get into the personal finance space?
Oh, I'm in the military, which I've been doing for 13 years. And you always hear the stories about people who are trying to get out of their first contract. So that was me. But they make everybody who's about to transition go through, it's called Soldier for Life. It's a transition program. So while in there, we had a personal finance class, and when the instructor, he was talking about personal finances. He had bought like stock in Tesla and Google in the beginning. And at that time, I was just putting money in my regular old savings account. So I thought I was doing something with that. So after that class, I was hooked. I started researching everything I could about personal finance. I started with Dave Ramsey's book, and then I led up to Ramit's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That kind of pushed me over the edge to keep going with this.
That's cool. I always wonder, what are the certifications for those people? Are they civilians or are they also in the military? Like, how do they find people to teach those classes?
I think it's a mix of both. There's with the military, they want to go with the cheapest price, of course. They're not going to pay top dollar for anything. So he was in the military before. He did Air Force, so he retired and he wanted to work with soldiers afterwards. So he ended up doing that.
That's interesting because I feel like there's no standardized advice when it comes to that. I've heard stories of people going through that training and then being led like the life insurance route and like all different kind of things. Yeah, I'm always interested to hear because I'm just like, how do they vet these people? Right. They just, okay, we have somebody teaching personal finance, check, and then just leave it like that? Or do you know the vetting process?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how they like pick somebody and be like, you're going to teach soldiers. He didn't mention any credentials like the certified financial planner or anything like that. He seems like just me. He did it on his own, and I guess they believed him and let him teach the class.
All right, cool. So you went from being in the military, transitioning out, turning your savings account into investing. And like, where has that gotten you? Like, where are you at this point on your financial journey?
So we're still paying off debt, of course. We can't live the Dave Ramsey lifestyle I would like to live because of my wife. But you
sounds like you're throwing your wife under the bus here.
No, she likes to spend money, and I'm different. But yeah, so we're still paying off debt, but we're definitely better than we were. We have our high yield savings account where we keep our sinking funds and our emergency funds. We have the investing set up for our kids. We manage our bills with our credit cards to get the rewards every month and stuff like that. So we have a system just getting that debt gone outside of the house, and like student loans is where we're at right now.
Was your wife in the military as well?
No. She's always been a civilian.
Okay, cool. So how do you guys handle money conversations? It sounds like you guys have different kind of money philosophies.
Yeah. So it's rough. So we do the budget. You need a budget, which is the zero-based budgeting app to handle our income that comes in. So we'll do that probably each time we get paid, and we'll sit down and she'll be like, hey, can you take a look at this? What do you think? And then we'll make adjustments from there. And that's been working for us lately.
And yeah, you mentioned investing for your kids. When did you set up their accounts and what accounts do they have?
I did it probably after they were born. I didn't know at the time that you could do it before they were born. But they have 529s with the Fidelity. And we use Greenlight to teach them about money, where they can get their own debit cards and invest on that app as well. But for the IRAs, I saw your video, half more. I didn't know about that. I was just going to have my kids model like my clothing brand I'm going to release, and I'll pay them that way. But now I saw that, I'm going to try to open them up IRA, do half more. So shout out to that.
All right. Thank you. I'll let them know. Yeah, that's dope. You could do it that way as well because you already formed like an LLC. And for people who don't know, what Half More is an app that allows you to turn your kids' chores into contributions to their Roth IRA. They handle all of the legal backside of it. So you don't have to worry about for your taxes. They'll prepare something for your taxes at the end of the year. But so it's primarily for people without a business. I don't necessarily have to use them because I have my LLC and then my tax preparer does it on the backside. But a lot of people don't pay for tax preparation like that if they don't have a business. And so Half More takes just the normal everyday person without a business, without a lot of money, and for $15 a month manages the chore payments and turns them into a Roth IRA contribution, which I think is incredible because anything that increases access, levels the playing field for people to invest, I love because I know that there's a lot of gatekeeping in the finance space, in the personal finance space, way less now, but there definitely is still a huge knowledge gap and people don't know what's out there. So that's my goal, is try to disseminate that information. It sounds like you're doing the same as well. So talk to us about your platform and what you've been doing.
So I started a blog probably a couple months ago called Wealth Generation Agency. I'll just post different things up there about things I learn every day. One post I have coming up next year is about those free cell phone deals you see when you're about to get a cell phone. Are they really free? How to budget, debt, credit card scores, things like that. Just the basic personal finance topics that anybody can digest. And I also post that on my Instagram and my Blue Sky. I'll post like financial tips, quick little financial tips like what is a stock, what's a dividend, and different things like that, so people can learn something new every day.
What inspired you to create your platform?
I was reading Ramit's journal after I had finished his book, and I ended up writing my own journal after that. And from there, I thought it was just going to be a book, but I realized that people ask me for personal finance advice. I'll text my family and friends randomly and give them advice. So I was like, maybe it's a sign that this is something I should move forward with and give out that information so it's not just stuck with me or my family.
Yeah, that's similar to how I started my platform. I was like, I want to share this information. People ask me this information all the time, and I don't like repeating myself. Like, if I put this stuff out there, are you guys going to follow? Are you going to pay attention? Use this information? And my friends were like, yes. And literally, that's the reason why I have my platform. It was really just supposed to be for like my group of good girlfriends, and it just grew organically. Yeah, I love that you're doing that because we need more voices like yours in this space. And I was always taught each one teach one. And it sounds like you just want to spread the good word because you've been in a position to go on this journey and be on a path to financial freedom. I love that you're doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you too.
Thank you. In that transition from leaving the military, what are some goals that you've achieved along the way? Some milestones as far as debt payoff and investing?
So right now I think we only have the cars left to pay off. We paid off our credit card debt, loans, and things like that. So we're just paying off the cars and trying not to get new cars.
It's so tempting.
Yeah, trying not to get the new car. They got nice cars out here. And then outside of that, we've been in the military. We had like houses everywhere we went. So we've been trying to get more rental property from starting next year to try to get into the real estate space more.
But you had houses. Did you keep those houses? Did you buy the houses or were they military housing? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, we bought them. We have 2 in Texas, and then we have 1 here that we're going to rent out once we probably move in a couple of years. We're going to rent this one out, and then we're going to probably get a duplex or something, or a townhouse or something like that. And that'll probably be our last property to move into the real estate space.
Actually, though, some horror stories around people in the military buying houses where they're stationed and then having to move and then not either being underwater on that house, not being able to sell it, refinance it. What has been your experience?
So we haven't had anything like that, but I say the worst experience was our house in Texas. We had a renter. I guess she had a friend or something come over and they ended up shooting through our back window or something like that. And we had a property manager, but that was the craziest thing. And then I'd say when we tried to rent the house out to somebody else after that, we had to deal with her in court dealing with that issue because she felt like it was our fault and stuff like that. But outside of that,
it was your fault. Somebody shot through the window.
Yes. So,
okay.
So outside of that, other stories we heard from just other military members is that I guess somebody's house, they messed up the foundation. It's just the renters really messing up the house itself, not necessarily like the finances behind it. So my thing that is just to make sure you have a good property manager if you can't really go to check on it yourself.
How do you mess up a foundation of a house? That's insane.
Yeah, so she sold that one, but yeah, that was her last. That was her last thing with rentals, but that's yeah.
That is dealing with tenants is one of those things that a lot of people like try to avoid. They don't like that part of the rental business or real estate. So I know there's a lot of people that share like really good vetting processes to avoid some of those things. And having a good property manager is always a good idea. But also, there's other ways to get into real estate outside of being a property owner. A lot of
Yeah.
people are just like, I'll just invest in REITs. Or I had an episode with someone who has an app where you can just buy a fraction of the property and you don't necessarily have to manage the tenants like they do that. It's almost like you're just buying a fractional share of a stock,
Yeah.
but it's just guaranteed like a house because it has the secured property to it, and the rates are similar too. So I like those different kind of alternative real estate avenues too, because I know everybody's not real estate,
Right.
and also understanding that I think it's interesting that you turned your primary residences into rentals because a lot of times when we buy homes and we think we're investing in our primary residence, we don't buy it actually as an investment. So you don't even look at it as an investment. You look at it as, oh my God, this house is so nice. I can live here forever. But changing the mindset of actually buying property from the perspective of it being an investment, being something you can actually make money from is totally different and something that a lot of people aren't prepared for, especially if they're going to be in that house for a certain period of time. Like when you were buying your properties, were you thinking that you were turning them into rentals or were you just looking at them because that's where you were stationed?
I've been moving a lot when I was in the military. Each location I went, it felt like it was temporary to me anyway. They do say not to buy a house if you're not going to live in there for like X amount of years. But my wife actually brought up the idea that if we're on a military basis, somebody's always looking for somewhere to stay. And their chances are they're not trying to buy a house. They want to rent. Using that, after that, each place we went, we got stationed. We got a house, lived there for a little bit, and then rented it out.
All right. You sound like your wife is smart about that.
She does all right. She does all right.
I want to circle back to your kids. How old are your kids?
9, 6, and 4.
Okay, you have three. Awesome. Oh, you said you have their 529s, you have their green light account, and then you're going to set up an IRA for them. What? I never knew that you can invest in a green light account.
Yes, it has a little section. It's like a growth, like a age-based growth investment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Oh, it's just like one account that you put your stuff
Yeah,
into.
it's not like you picked up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like individuals. That's not bad. That's not a bad investment. Do you know if they charge fees on their investment accounts?
No, I know they have a monthly fee in general for the
Okay.
$10 a month for all of that, like investing in the debit card and everything.
So it's similar to Acorns. Basically, the fees that you pay are just those upfront fees. So it's pretty transparent and it doesn't matter how much you have in the account. That's what your fees are.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. That's interesting. That's something to look into. So as far as like your like personal development, I know you're going to school. What inspired you to go into the finance space, like educationally?
So I was reading the Fire for Dummies book by Jackie.
Hey, well, that's my homegirl. I'm in that book.
What page?
It's like in the last like people to follow.
Okay, that's a big book. Got to get to that part. But yeah, reading her book and then Popcorn Finance, Chris, I saw that they went into the finance space, and anything I get into, I got to be like engulfed in it. I can't just be like one toe in. So just from that, and then seeing how they did it, that kind of reassured me, and I went into pursuing it.
But you're actually getting a finance degree, right? I know Jackie, she did her certifications.
Yeah, she got the CFE.
Yeah. So what made you want to get a degree in finance though?
And I still have like my GI Bill for the military. My wife used part of it. So I was got to go to school for something. So I figured if I'm trying to do the personal finance thing, I should use it for that.
But when you transitioned out of the military, what did you do as a career, or what do you do?
I still do cybersecurity.
Okay. That's cool. Like for yourself or you work for a company?
I work for a company. It's like a contract through the the base out here. It's like
Okay.
off site
So
at one of those.
paramilitary still.
Yeah, the money's there.
Hey, cybersecurity is where it's at.
Definitely.
Oh my God. We have a lot of companies, cybersecurity companies out here, and I know they're always slammed because there's always a security threat. Working in hospitals, we get threats all the freaking time.
Yeah, I
It's
bet.
scary. Yeah, it's the wild, wild west. So, what are your plans? What are you going to do with your master's in finance? And are you going to keep on doing cybersecurity? Are you going to use that as a side hustle? Are you hoping to grow your platform? What are you trying to do?
I'm definitely trying to use it to grow my platform. I really want
Mm-hmm.
to get out here and do like volunteer work, to do like workshops for personal finance for people so they can get the knowledge in the community and stuff like that. Like the guy who got me on this path when I was transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something like that.
I was going to ask you, have you looked at doing that for the military?
I have. I think I just have to learn a little bit more about all the different things, like the exemptions they can get, because the only thing we really get taxed on is they get taxed on is the base pay. So I just want to have a better understanding how I can make all their exemptions work for them in the best way.
Okay. Okay. I think that that would be a good start. I know a lot of people that have, it's not CFP, but it's another designation. They do a lot of speaking on military bases. I'm not sure if that's like falls under the same umbrella, but I know a lot of people who get this. Now, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the certification because I have the information in front of me. I think it's the AF.
Financial counselor one, AFC?
Yeah.
Okay.
The AFC one. I think they do get a lot of contracts with the military, but I'm not sure if that's the same thing because I'm totally a civilian. I have no idea
Nah,
with anything military.
nah, that's okay. Yeah.
All right. So, like, where ultimately do you see yourself on this financial journey? What are you working towards as far as your own financial freedom? And then what do you hope to do with your platform?
I definitely want to stop working eventually and my time, how I want to use it. So I think that's the ultimate goal for a lot of people, just to have that time back. As far as my platform, I look up to a lot of you guys on social media, you, Jamila, Chris, Jackie, and things like that. So I just want to have that reach to where I'm putting that knowledge out to the world and they're getting it and they're implementing it in their daily lives.
I love that. I love that. And these are all my friends. And I tell people when they're like, oh, how do I get started? Build your network. I would say, like, you don't have to blow up your social media accounts, but start a whole new social media account where you just follow the people that you aspire to financially and let that be your network because I did that and those people all became my friends. Like anyone in the personal finance space that I really looked up to, I became like friends in real life with those people. And so then that normalizes to me, oh, yeah, retiring in your 40s, paying off a whole bunch of debt, being able to be an entrepreneur full time and transition into full time personal finance work. So I love that, that's your aspirations. And I'm really proud of what you're doing. I think that
Thank
is
you.
so great. It's always good to meet new people in this space because I don't think that especially for us, there could be enough of us. Also, as far as stopping work, I don't think that you'll stop working. I think that you'll just not have to depend on your job as your source of income, right? Because you'll
Yeah.
have grown your investment. So that's most people's goals is to be able to do whatever they want because they've grown their investments so that they don't have to trade time for money. And the thing is that I feel like a lot of those people actually work harder later on, but it doesn't seem like work because
Yeah.
they're doing what they really, really love doing. Yeah. So that is definitely an aspiration for me and a lot of people. For me, I just want to be able to enjoy my kids while they're still kids.
Yeah.
And that's not normal. They expect people to work, and then have time. But then your kids are grown. You miss out on those crucial years, all that
Mhm.
stuff. I love your goals and your aspirations, and they're aligned with what a lot of people out here are doing. So I think that's dope.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
So, how can people actually let's talk a little bit about your journal? Like, how is it structured and how can people benefit from it?
Yeah, so my journal's called Why Not Us? It's pretty much for the everyday person. So it's structured from the basics, starting at budgeting all the way up to debt management and eventually like a calendar where you can track your goals each month. I got personal stories in there about how I struggled from when I was a teenager before I joined the military to my adulthood right now. I want it to be a journal where you can create your own journey. You don't have to be like, okay, let me try to be like Danny Barnes and do what he did. It's your own story. You put everything in there that fits your situation. And then hopefully from that, you can build your own financial freedom. That's in your name, not mine.
I love that you made it a journal because a lot of times people get stuck, right? They get inspired by the stories that are in books, but then they don't take action. So I love that there's a journal there. So a person has accountability, they have to dos. So I love the idea of that journal. And I'm going to definitely link the journal up in the show notes. Is your blog and your newsletter the same?
Yeah, they're the same.
Okay. Okay. So if you subscribe to your newsletter, your Substack, they're subscribing to like your blog.
Yep.
All right. So share all that information again where people can get in contact with you.
You can find me on Instagram at Wealth Sleuth, SLEUTH. Blue Skies at Wealth Sleuth as well. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, Danny Barnes. And my blog is Wealth Generation Agency on Substack.com.
Cool. What is Blue Sky?
It's like the Twitter replacement.
Oh, see, I don't know nothing. Okay. Okay. This is my first time ever hearing about that. So people who don't like the X platform, they could go over to Blue Sky.
On Blue Sky. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Danny, this has been so nice to talk to you. Always good to meet another person in this space and similar aspirations, and also with the kids and doing the same things. I appreciate you. I'll put all the links in the show notes. So you guys make sure you guys are following him and make sure you guys get that journal, because I really think that it'll inspire you and encourage you and give you actionable steps along your journey. So thank you, Danny.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Of course.